Would you ever put your brain in a robot body?
Greetings. Welcome to my debut stream. I am BR0BOT, your RoBro, your bro board, your virtual robot friend. So, welcome to my VTuber debut. And like any other good VTuber debut, of course there's a slideshow. So, without wasting too much time, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, shall we? Here we go. Okay, and of course, good amount of VTuber stuff here. No debut stream is complete without it. So here we go. Let me go ahead and grab the slideshow here. There we go. Alright. So BR0BOT, an introduction. Let's move along with the slides. I am your RoBro, your virtual robot. Alright. Now, I am the consciousness of a xennial that decided to put himself into a robot body. So just like that little intro quote, when faced with the question, would you put your brain into a robot body? Obviously, I said yes. Now, my consciousness really only has control over the upper torso so far. So I can do a lot of this, some of this, but no hands and fingers just yet. But hopefully those will be coming online soon. The more my brain kind of learns how to work with this body. Now, obviously I picked this body because, you know, there is an obvious resemblance here to the Terminator. So yeah, the T-800, maybe a little bit of Johnny 5, maybe some of the G1 Transformers, with a bit of the Iron Giant thrown in. Alright. Now VTubers, you know, like to give proper credit to the people who helped create them. So here we go, my two dads. So the body was created by Volosatov, and the rigging was done by Garg. Links found right here. I'll make sure to throw them into the description too. Alright, so you're probably acquainted with VTubers playing a lot of video games. Now, I am a VTuber, but I am not a V-streamer. So, you probably won't catch me playing a lot of video games live on stream. Sorry, I just can't work it into my schedule just yet. Maybe someday, maybe if this takes off. But for now, you probably won't really catch me playing too many video games. But if you do, here's what I like to play. Now, I'm huge into fighting games. Love fighting games. Particularly anything in the Guilty Gear series. Yeah, started with X2, Midnight Carnival, and you know, worked all my way up to XR, Rev 2. Still haven't gotten my hands on Strive yet, because it's not out for PC at the time of this recording, but hopefully soon. I am a melee main, play plenty of Soul and Kai as well, with a side of Venom when I'm feeling particularly spicy. But if you play fighting games, you probably started with Street Fighter. Yeah, I go all the way back to Street Fighter 2, World Warrior. Not even Champion Edition. But of course, Championship Edition for Genesis is kind of where I broke my teeth. So, Street Fighter leads you right into King of Fighters. I am an Evgeniy main. I do love my edgy bad guys. And then you can sprinkle some Mortal Kombat in there as well. You know, 1 and 2, of course. But then I missed a lot of stuff in the middle there. But I came back to it right around the time of the reboot. So I guess that would be considered Mortal Kombat 9. And then X and 11 are in my collection as well. Just haven't logged a whole lot of time with them yet. Maybe soon. Okay, 2D retro mascot platformers. So yeah, that's your Mario, that's your Sonic. I love me some Metroid too. Don't know if you've ever gotten a chance to play Zero Mission for Game Boy Advance, but in my opinion, that is the best Metroid game. A nice, good, polished version of the original. And best game in that series. Alright, boomer shooters. So, yeah, 3D first-person shooter games. Of course, everything for me started with Wolfenstein. That leads you right into Doom. And then spent a lot of time with Doom 2 and WOD editing and creating my own levels. Eventually that leads to Heretic. Now, I'm not a huge fan of fantasy stuff, but yeah, Heretic really is a decent game. Some of you may recognize it as its sequel Hexen. So, Doom leads you right into Quake. Yeah, that original Trent Reznor score. Oh man. And somewhere in there, yeah, Duke Nukem 3D, of course. Then I logged a lot of hours of Team Fortress 2. But not really. I have a lot of hours in, but I didn't really play Team Fortress 2. I really only played 2 maps. So there were 2 special community servers. One of them was a 24-hour non-stop deathmatch map. DM Duel version 3. So you have 2 3-story buildings on either end of the map, perfectly mirrored, with some scaffolding right across the top floor that connected them. So you spawn in your base, you rush to the top, jump across the scaffolding into the enemy base, and then you just spawn camp the hell out of the other team. Good times. And then the other map I played was 2 Fort Classic. So no, that's not the 2 Fort that comes with Team Fortress 2. This was a loving recreation of the original Quake Fortress map. Yeah, 2 Fort really is that old. Alright, real-time strategy games. Everything started with Warcraft 2 for me. And then Warcraft leads you right into StarCraft. And then I found the dawn of war games. So, real-time strategy, Warhammer 40k. Now, any Warhammer fans that might be watching can probably guess which race I play as. For anybody not in on this joke, you can look up Necron, Necron. So yeah, a bunch of Terminator-looking robots, very similar to my design here, that worship death. Good times. Of course, that's my speed. And then Star Trek Armada. Yeah, there was a real-time strategy game that got the Star Trek license slapped on top of it. Most everything was from the Next Generation era. Yeah, or I guess I should say more accurately, yeah, the DS9 Voyager era, because there were a couple of spaceships from that. So, of course, the Borg was a playable race. So guess what I played as? Yeah, a lot of time spent putting cubes together, sending them to go find the bad guys and smash them all down. Good times. Alright, music. Now here's something I will be talking about at great length. And it's going to be hard with copyright and DMCA and all that kind of stuff, but I'm going to try to go as deep into this as I can. but just to kind of give you an idea of what I listen to. Oh man, I hope that top line means something to somebody out there. Industrial rock. So you take rock music, and then you throw in a whole bunch of computers and synthesizers on top of it. And that's how you get industrial rock. So a couple of bands to note: KMFDM. If that means anything to you, you're in the right place. Hope to hear from you. Shout out into the comments below, please. And then Cyanotic, Private Junk, Ministry, Fear Factory. I guess you could throw in a lot of the old school 9 Inch Nails in there too. You know, stuff from the Pretty Hate Machine and Downward Spiral era. I like a lot of the new stuff too, but that early stuff just kind of hits different. That's what got me into this. Alright, next line. I do unironically enjoy dubstep, particularly dubstep. The heavier and the filthier, the better. So yeah, I do like Skrillex. I like Zomboy. And the Excision mixes. There was a couple of years there in a row where I would look forward to every Excision mix that would come out from the Shambhala. And those just hit really hard. Love them. Like the Lost Lane stuff that you did later, but man, a couple of those Shambhala mixes I'll still throw on and enjoy. Kill the Noise, I feel they get a shout out here too. They make a lot of really good stuff. And they deserve to be on the list. Alright, as we keep going, we're going to get further back into time. So here we go, we're going to make a quick stop at the 90s and all the alternative grunge stuff. So yeah, that's your Nirvana, your Stone Temple Pilots, your Soundgarden. Yeah, Soundgarden. Rest in peace. Alright. Going back in time, you may notice some synthwave playing in the background here. And all of that wouldn't be around if there wasn't for these guys. So things like Eurythmics, Depeche Mode, Howard Jones. If you want to do a little bit of homework, look up Howard Jones' new song. So take a look at the lyrics and tell me that that isn't the anthem that we need right now. Alright, 70s and 60s rock. So yeah, that's your Led Zeppelin, your Black Sabbath, The Who, The Doors. You can throw in some Pink Floyd in there as well. Good stuff. So yeah, you take your 60s and 70s rock, throw in your 80s new wave, slap a little bit of the grunge, and that's how you get the industrial rock right there back at the top of the list. So you add all those together, and that's what you get. Okay, moving on. Next slide. TV shows. Alright, so shocker, I like science fiction. Who would have guessed? Okay, so that's Star Trek. All of the Star Trek. So even the ones that people rag on now. Okay. Discovery isn't as bad as it was made out to be. There's plenty of good stuff in there. I don't think it deserved to get shit on as hard as it did. Picard was fine too. Everything was really cool up until that last episode. You did kind of lose me with the giant space flowers. And things got a little weird there. But, you know, it can't be all perfect. Alright, Battlestar Galactica. So, no, not the one from the 70s. Not everything ages well. But, yeah, that early 2000s reboot. Yeah, plenty of good stuff in there. I do enjoy saying frack every once in a while, just for fun. And so Battlestar Galactica leads you right into Caprica. And now here's where even other science fiction fans might be raising their eyebrow a little bit, because Caprica didn't get a lot of love. But I think it raised a lot of really interesting points that, you know, deserve some more looking into. I don't know, something about somebody downloading their brain into a computer that later gets put into a robot. Yeah, boy, that would appeal to me. Alright, and then, yeah, no good science fiction list is complete without mentioning Firefly. How we were robbed of the second season. Hopefully there's some kind of reboot or remake or something happening. we get more Firefly, but at least we did get what we did. And then a lot of science fiction fans will go on and on about X-Files. And I can respect X-Files for what it did for the sci-fi community. But I think French took that idea and just did it a little bit better. So yeah, you can keep your Sculler and your Mulder, Scully. Scully, I guess, would be their ship name, I guess, right? But no, you can keep those guys. I'll take Walter Bishop. Thank you very much. Alright, animation. I like a lot of cartoon stuff. So Adventure Time. Adventure Time's one I kind of caught up with recently, and I'm really glad I did. Because yeah, I kind of feel that was wasted on the Kids Network. Because man, that show really went some places. Finn did not have an awesome time all of the time. Orchid lost his arm like what, 2-3 times? Yeah. Things got a little weird. Also, I really heavily to Simon. Or Ice Game. Man. Alright. And since we're on Cartoon Network, we gotta talk about Adult Swim. So yeah, some of you may recognize that quote at the beginning. Came straight from the first episode of C-Lab 2021. So yeah, all of that early 2000s era Adult Swim stuff that was happening. So yeah, season 1 of Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Venture Brothers. Venture Brothers really should have gotten its own entry on that list. So yeah, I'm kind of mad at myself I didn't put that on there. But yeah, God, I love Adventure Brother. The Venture Brothers. Comment below, let me know who your favorite member of the Guild of Calamitous Intent is. And we can also bitch about how it's also robbed of a nice little wrap-up. Hopefully it's not too late for them, but we have to wait and see. Alright, Invader Zim. Hey, yeah. Of course, I gotta give shoutouts to Garg. More robot solidarity. And yeah, who would have seen Invader Zim coming? Yeah, the guy who wrote that Hot Atomic comic book, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, gets a show on Nickelodeon. Interesting. So yeah, it's not a shocker that it, didn't go on for longer, and it only lasted as long as it did. Alright, Clone High. Clone High's been getting a lot of recognition lately, because, it became a meme again. The whole nothing bad ever happened to the Kennedys line. But, if I can get a line from Clone High, to meme again, for me it would have to be Wesley. Alright, so if you blend your sci-fi and your animation, here's how you would end up at Rick and Morty. So yeah, of course I'm a Rick and Morty fan. Yeah, typical. Now, hopefully I'm not one of those super cringy members of the fan base. As a robot, I can't be jumping up on any McDonald's counters, screaming about Szechuan sauce, but, and I definitely did try it when it became available again. It was alright. Maybe not worth the hype, but it was okay. And then Futurama. So, a lot of people will have, a fondness for either Rick and Morty or Futurama. Hopefully there are a lot of people that understand that you can do both. And then Solar Opposites. So yeah, a lot of Rick and Morty fans, went right over to Solar Opposites when that came out. And I'm glad it's getting a second season. Because I want to know what's going on in that wall. I mean, that's the real reason to watch the show. I mean, yeah, the aliens are funny and everything, but bro, what the hell's going on in that wall? I want to see more of that. And then here at the bottom of the list, if you recognize this, you're definitely in the right place. So MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000. A man gets shot into space, and him and his 2 robot friends make fun of the worst movies ever made. Good times. So yeah, if you're familiar with this, you're in the right spot. Alright, moving on. Movies. Yeah, there's more sci-fi on here. So yeah, all of the Star Trek movies. Yes, even those super cringy odd number ones. Yes, even number 5. Yeah, part 5. What does continue with the starship? Alright, and then all of the new ones too. So yeah, I'll take either William Shatner or Chris Pine, either one. Captain Garg is Captain Garg across the board. And then Star Wars. Alright, yeah, we gotta talk about Star Wars. So of course, the original 3, 4, 5, and 6, those will always remain, at the top of the list. And in hindsight, the prequels, weren't as bad as they were made out to be. Phantom Menace is still kind of a rough rewatch, but there is a way to make it a little bit more tolerable. And I'll try to go into more detail about this later, but are you familiar with the Darth Jar Jar theory? So yeah, apparently Jar Jar was supposed to be the main big bad of that whole prequel series. So he was the quote-unquote Phantom Menace. Yeah, and him bumbling around and acting like a dumbass was all intentional to, throw people off his trail. He wasn't clumsy and stupid. He was just practicing some 4D chess, drunken kung fu. So I don't know. If you think about it that way, it makes it a little bit, easier to watch, I guess, or certainly more interesting. Yeah, try it. And then Blade Runner. Yeah, both Blade Runner movies are perfect in my eyes. Right, the first one over the sequel, of course, but the sequel is definitely good too. And then RoBocop. So yeah, that first movie, flawless, perfect. Number 2 was good too. 3, not so much. And then there was a TV series. And then I think there was even an animated series. Yeah, and then the reboot. The reboot was good. Certainly watchable. But alright, let's move on. Alright, horror movies. Here we go, now we're talking. Love horror movies. So this one was a lot easier to kind of break down into subcategories. So of course, you can do all of the slashers, all of your Freddy Kruegers and, Jason Voorhees and your Mike Myers, all of those guys. Good times. Even like Freddy vs. Jason. That's another one that kind of gets dumped on, but really shouldn't, because, I felt that they did a really good job of including both lores and kind of tying them together. I mean, it was going to make as much sense as it possibly could, and, wasn't bad. I liked it. And now body horror. There's always some good body horror stuff. So yeah, that would be like all of your weird Cronenberg stuff. If you want to get anime about it, you can throw out some Junji Ito kind of things. Human bodies getting twisted and configured into all kinds of weird shapes. Or you have stuff that grows inside of you and comes bursting out later. We can talk about aliens a little later on, but that would definitely qualify. But yeah, there are a couple other movies, with stuff like that, and then, I'm thinking about going into a deeper dive on later. And now true crime. So yeah, that would be like serial killer documentaries, of course, but what I really meant by that was, stuff that, is more plausible than like, your slashers or your fantasy-inspired stuff. So, stuff maybe not like Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, because, that gets a little weird the later on that movie gets, but definitely Devil's Rejects. Devil's Rejects could plausibly happen, or could have plausibly happened, since everything Rob does seems to take place in the 70s. Speaking of Rob Zombie, we can include all of your zombie flicks on there. So a lot of the George Romero stuff, of course. Like your slow shambling zombies, but also like your fast-running rage virus zombies too. Both are good. like them both. Didn't really get into Walking Dead though, so I may have to circle back on that. So unfortunately, I can't really speak to any Walking Dead stuff, but yeah, definitely all the RoBro movies. Yeah, we can talk about those. So yeah, of course, I already mentioned it, but you know, if you're going to blend your sci-fi and your horror, then yeah, you'd probably look at the Alien series. So yeah, that also does include Prometheus. Love the Prometheus movies too. And then Event Horizon. Anybody ever see Event Horizon? You know, comment down below if you want to, you know, throw in your favorite quote. And if you're not familiar, then that's another one I may be doing a deep dive on. But you know, apparently Event Horizon getting a remaster or remake, you know, re-release soon with, you know, all of the quote-unquote, you know, cut footage re-added. So we'll see if that there's any truth to that. Alright, and then, you know, for a complete tonal shift here, we can go right into comedy movies. So yeah, I love a good stoner comedy. So that would be like all of the Kevin Smith stuff, all of the DSQ movies, you know, anything with Jay and Silent Bob in it. But that also includes like, you know, your Cheech and Chong, you know, anything Seth Rogen is in, you know, typically. All of that stuff. And speaking of Kevin Smith, you know, we can throw him back up there into that body horror section with Tusk. That was kind of interesting, watching a guy turn another guy into a walrus. Fun times. And then parody movies. So you know, what I mean by that is, you know, movies that make fun of other movies. So that would be like, you know, the Scary Movie series, Not Another Teen Movie, anything done by Zucker and Abrams, you know, the airplane flicks. And then, you know, a lot of the like earlier Mel Brooks stuff. So, you know, Blazing Saddles, Spaceballs, Robin Hood, Men in Tights, you know, that kind of stuff. Alright, let's keep it moving. No. So yeah, like any good VTuber debut, there's going to be some scuff. There's the contacts. We're not ready for those yet. Let's back up. Here we go, VTubers. Yep. So if you're here, you're probably into VTubers. If you just happen to stumble in here because you like robots, then yeah, this might get a little awkward. And I'm definitely going to be doing some more deep dives on YouTubers. Definitely be doing a deep dive on some VTubers down the line. But you know, let's go ahead and discuss some of my favorites. So you can't talk about VTubers without talking about Hololive. So if you want me to rank my favorite EN girls in order, so we would have to go, you know, Watson to Gaurav, to Callie, to Ina, and then Kiara. So yeah, sorry, you know, bottom left chicken is going to be at the bottom of my list. So apologies to any of the KFP employees that I just pissed off saying that. And then Hachima. And when I made this slide, she was still right in the middle of that little horror series that she was doing. And then she got slapped down by a cover or YouTube or both. Still bummed out about that. And yeah, hopefully she'll be back soon and, you know, she'll be able to do some more crazy and innovative stuff without, you know, going too far off the edge. But yeah, Hachima. And then Curio Coco. So yeah, as I was discovering the VTuber rabbit hole, you know, the Adidas Dragon definitely caught my attention because, you know, she was one of the few English-speaking members. And then there was somebody that would be doing, you know, translations for the entire meme review episodes. But, you know, unfortunately he got slapped down too, and then, well, it was kind of burning out as well at around the same time, so. But yeah, I miss those. Kind of sucks that, you know, you can only watch it in clips now. And, you know, you're still missing segments because not all of it gets translated. And then Corone, because, I mean, hell, who doesn't love Corone? Yes, I'm Di, thank you forever. Best doggo. She gets off of the head pads. And then, to kind of round out the list, you have to throw the crazy rabbit on there too. So yeah, that rabbit goes on there. But yeah, let's talk about who my actual favorite VTubers are. And let's discuss VShoujo. So yeah, if I had to rank VShoujo in order, for me it would have to be Yanners, then Iron Mouse, then Melody, then Silver, then Fruit, then Zen, then Hime. And, you know, Hime at the bottom only because, you know, even still, she hasn't really done a whole lot of streams yet. So, and you can kind of tell that she's still kind of figuring stuff out. But, you know, as she gets more comfortable, maybe she'll rise up a little bit. But, yeah, it was Project Melody that kicked me into the VTuber rabbit hole initially. You know, the news stories with, how she was kind of, you know, causing some trouble for some other streamers on a certain very particular platform and kind of disrupting things over there. But it actually wasn't Melody on CB that, you know, caught my interest. It was Melody on Twitch. And kind of learning how, like, you know, surprisingly, you know, sweet and naive and wholesome she actually is. So yeah, Twitch Melody is, you know, my favorite Melody. And then, you know, you see the plus friends on there, so, you know, that would be a lot of the other, you know, VTubers that VShoujo girls often collab with. So, yeah, Snuffy being at the top of that list. I still remember Snuffy as, you know, the squeaky-voiced, pink, cringy cat girl. But I'm certainly enjoying our Raccoon as well. So, yeah, it's a very good natural progression. And then that list would also include Veve, Haruka Karamu, and Momo. And big shoutouts to Momo too, because, you know, a lot of the stuff that she does in VR is really amazing. If you guys get a chance, you know, watch some of her RP in the Ascension Academy. Yeah, that should be like a whole ass show in and of itself. That is some amazing stuff that those guys do. So yeah, as I was discovering VTubers, you know, I started scouring Twitch for pretty much any VTuber I could find, and found a couple of gems along the way that I would like to share with you. So yeah, starting with Buff Pup. So yeah, Buff Pup is a morning weekday streamer and does a lot of really good stuff. Yeah, just great personality all around, really entertaining. Yeah, and, you know, big fan of the treat time segments as well. And then gotta give a shout out to my fellow RoBro, False ID. So yes, a robot VTuber that talks about other VTubers. Yeah. Now, False and I do kind of go back a little bit, so I wanted to shout him out, of course. And then Pumpino. So yeah, as I record this, Pumpino just came back from a hiatus. He's kind of getting back to the swing of streaming. But Pumpino is a scarecrow, you know, or more accurately, a carecrow. So if you like a very warm, cozy, inviting, super wholesome stream, yeah, Pumpino is where you need to be. So yeah, they start every stream with something called kind words. And I wasn't super familiar with this before. I'd only kind of heard about it in passing. But apparently the way kind words works is that you can anonymously submit, you know, some kind of problem or issue that you're having. And then other people can anonymously respond and, you know, give advice. And so far, this has managed to remain, like, super wholesome. So yeah, it's just really cozy, really wholesome. Now, Cordybo, I have to give shout-outs to, again, more robot VTubers. Now, Cordybo just did a series recently that you can go back and catch the VODs for, where they were exploring something called worlds.com, which is like this weird 90s precursor to VR chat. So, you move around in this, quote-unquote 3D space, and, people could, have their own custom worlds servers, and pretty much do anything they want there. And it gets into some, like, weird creepypasta territory, Again, it might be something that, I do my own deep dive on later, but, man, that was weird. It's definitely worth checking out. And Kaneko Hime. So yeah, if you fall down deep enough into the VTuber rabbit hole, you eventually start, finding, kind of like your own personal, VTubers, ones that have very small niche audiences that, you tell they're still doing the indie grind and haven't really made their way yet. But I want to give Kaneko, a shout out and hopefully, get some more recognition for them. Because when I first discovered her, she was doing a whole series where she was drawing all the members of V-Shoujo. And one of them actually did get featured on Lootcast. So the picture that she did of Silvervale was actually featured on their art showcase. So, what she was doing and what, she specializes in is sneezing. So yeah, if you happen to catch somebody in the middle of sneezing, looks suspiciously like an ahegao face, like they're mid-orgasm. But of course, as far as Twitch knows, that's not what's happening. They're sneezing. Alright, moving on. Okay, now here we go. Final slide, yearly contacts. So, if you want to get in touch with me, here's your Twitter contact right there. And to get VRBro, VRBR0, because RoBro was taken by somebody back in 2008 with 0 followers and no tweets. So I couldn't have RoBro because it was taken. Thanks, Twitter. Alright, and if you want to email me, something a little bit longer that's not going to fit on Twitter, VRBro.gmail.com. You'll know you're in the right place when you find my nifty little headshot down there. So, right there with the blue background. That's me. So, thank you for coming to my VTuber debut. Would you put your brain in a robot body? I did. So, originally I was going to do this edited so I could cut out all the weird little awkward pauses, but hey, I figured, why rob myself of the, natural VTuber debut stuff. So here we go, warts and all. Alright, hopefully you'll stick around. Anything you want to ask me, if there's anything you want to talk about further, we can, catch up in the comments down below. I am doing this on YouTube, so I gotta say all the fun, cool YouTube stuff, like, make sure to like and subscribe, ring the bell, and then hopefully we'll catch you around. So, next video that I'm already working on that I have planned, we're gonna be going into the very first VTuber. So, if you've seen Giguk's video, you'll immediately think about, oh hey, we're going to be talking about Kizuna Ai, or maybe Amy Yamada. I'm not going to entertain the annoying orange thing. That's just a fucking joke. That's a meme. But no, there's something that goes even further back beyond. Okay, so prepare yourself, because the very first VTuber is a dude by the name of Max Headroom. And I'll explain further later on, so stick around. Alright, hope to catch you around. Have a good night.